Championship week presented by 7-Up as we take you to Lynchburg, Virginia for the Big South Championship game. Will we be making history? Well, High Point is trying to do it because they have never been to the NCAA tournament. They will do that if they win today, and Liberty has not won a game to get into the NCAA championship in 10 years. We have 3 games coming up, 3 games in a row, 3 NCAA bids are on the line. Actually 4 today, and one of them right now on ESPN. East Tennessee taking on Chattanooga in the Southern Conference. We have a triple header on ESPN2, starting with Liberty High Point, then the Atlantic Sun Championship, Troy State and Central Florida, and finally the Ohio Valley Conference Championship at 6 Eastern Time, Austin Peay and Murray State. Chattanooga and East Tennessee State playing right now on ESPN, and they are at the half. East Tennessee State leading at 43. Let's get you started right now as we send you out to Dave.
Tons of excitement in Lynchburg, Virginia, where we have a tourney bid on the line. Championship week presented by 7-Up. It is the 2 top seeds battling for all the marbles of the Advanced Auto Parts Big South Championship. High Point and Liberty. Dave Revson, Bob Valvano with you. And Bob, our Star Watch featuring arguably the league's 2 best players.
Certainly one of them is the best player of the conference, according to the voters. The Big South Player of the Year, Danny Gathings, averages over 16 points a game, and yet in the first 2 games during the regular season between these teams, he only scored 17 total points, probably in large measure why High Point lost. That could be attributed to the defense of the guy at the bottom, though. Gabe Martin, also a terrific player, leading scorer and rebounder for Liberty. He had big games in those 2. He needs to again this afternoon.
High Point will be wearing the black, Liberty in the white. Liberty went to the tourney just 1 time. That was 10 years ago. High Point has never been to the NCAA tourney, so a huge day for both these teams. Bob, what are we going to be looking for?
Well, I think most people in the conference consider High Point to be a little bit more athletic team. They brought in 9 new players from last year, many of which were junior college players, and they are probably a little bit more athletic. Liberty a little bit more well-rounded, so you can see it in the numbers. High Point averages 73 points a game, Liberty just over 68. A faster tempo, I think, favors High Point, but nothing happens if they don't get Gathings off the block.
You see the lineup there for them and for Liberty. In addition to Martin, Larry Blair, a guy to watch, 4 conference freshman of the year. Brian Woodson, a walk-on who Randy Dutton didn't know existed in August, has done a great job for them coming in and running the point. So we are ready to go. It is High Point and Liberty playing for the Big South Championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. And the homestanding Flames have it, Luvon Sneed. Now Sneed going to take it to the hole, and he's called for the offensive foul.
Well, you can see again what they do, what Bart Lundy does with his defensive system is he plays to his athleticism. Great ball pressure, knowing that if they drive it to the basket, he's got the quickness to step in and take a charge, just as they did there.
See Lundy, his first year at High Point, just 32 years old, came from Queens College, Division II school in Charlotte, took them to the Division II Final Four last year. Off the miss right there by Joshua Chambers. It is Liberty coming the other way. No good by Sneed.
You're seeing nerves a little bit. Those are 2 pretty easy looks that these teams got. Not able to convert. Just a bit on the line today.
Yeah, just a smidge. Landed quick. Now this is Gathings, who we highlighted off the top. Taking the 3, cannot get it to go. Rebound goes to Sneed.
Gathings a good 3-point shooter, 43%.
Well, this guy can shoot it too, Ryan Matlow, but he misses that one. So still no score here from Lynchburg. No foul call there. It's landed quick, loses it on the way to the hoop. Liberty coming the other way. This is Larry Blair. And the conference freshman of the year gets the first 2 points.
How about that? The first guy to settle down is one of the youngest guys on the floor. There's a lot of upperclassmen here. 11 juniors and seniors for Liberty and 9 for High Point. There's a lot of experienced players.
Turnaround there is good by Ishanike. Jerry Ishanike gets the first 2 for the Panthers.
Well, I watched him in the pregame. He was just very, very calming influence for his teammates. Talking to everybody. I'm not surprised he got the first bucket.
Native of Honduras.
Look at him bodying up there, trying to get very big inside against Sneed. Trying again. A lot of beef in there.
Now trying the 3 out of the corner. No good is Martin. And Brian Woodson puts on the rebound.
Well, good follow. Neither of these teams are great rebounding teams. They both out-rebound the opposition by a small margin.
Ishanike has it blocked from behind by Matlow.
I don't want to minimize the first 5 minutes unless somebody comes out and completely gets a deer in the headlights. But until we got everybody's emotions settled down a bit, this game won't really take the true shape. As you get a look here on the help down on the post. He doesn't see him coming from the back. Good timing. Whack! Out of bounds. Good clean block by Matlow.
Jason Sarchet is 40 into the game for Liberty. Now spinning into the lane and missing right there was Chambers. And here comes Liberty the other way.
He's had 2 good looks, Chambers, just trying so hard to will the ball down.
Sarchet right off the bench and right into the hoop.
Now that is a trademark. They get a lot of productivity off the bench, and you can see right away both these teams will go deep into their bench.
35% of the scoring for the Flames comes from the bench, and High Point turns it over. So it's 6-2 Liberty early on.
Quick, the freshman kind of wipe his hands on his jerseys. You got to look at the series history. Liberty has not only won 3 of the last 4 and swept the regular season series here, but they are unbeaten on this floor. And they have been very, very difficult to defeat here in the Big South.
Yeah, 10-0 against conference opponents at home this year. That includes the conference tournament. They're getting inside to Sarchet. He misses. Ball knocked around, and look who's there. Gabe Martin gets his first 2.
Well, that's got to make Bart Lundy a big concern because they're stopping the initial surge, but not able to get the rebound.
Now Landon Quick gets fouled on the way to the hoop. It's going to go against Brian Woodson, number 1 on him, and you see High Point coming out very tight, Bob.
Well, they've got good looks, though. Again, if you're Bart Lundy, you're saying, well, let's just see if we can settle down and get those shots to go. As you look at, you got 2 coaches who've done great jobs here. Andy Dutton, 2 years ago, this program won 5 games. What a great turnaround he has brought. He was an assistant here, the interim head coach in another era. And again, a good look that they can't get to go, Rever.
That was Gathings missing that one. Yeah, when Dutton took over this program the year before, they had been 324 out of 324 in the RPI.
If you're going to be down there, you might as well go all the way to the bottom.
There's nowhere to go but up, clearly, for the Flames. Good interior passing, and they get it to Sarchet.
Well, now, as I said, you don't want to make too much of the first 4 minutes, but you miss too many shots, you start pressing. And they are missing a bunch of shots around the basket, though, High Point.
Ishinike missing another one there. On the run, it's Matlow has it blocked. Rebound batted around, and Ishinike comes out of there with it, but now he turns it over. It's knocked away. It's actually going to stay with High Point.
Larry Blair's so excited, he didn't know what to do. Knocked the ball out of bounds, almost jumped over the scorer's table, ran up, touched the backboard at the other end. Got a lot of energy. This is a great bit of reaction by the freshman who saves the run out. Hey, watch, he avoids the table, he keeps running, he goes and jumps, touches the backboard at the other end. Ought to be young, Rever.
Blair, a guy, a big-time recruit for Randy Dutton. They got on him early, so he probably wouldn't have gotten him. We wouldn't have signed him early, but he has come in and made a huge impact. As we said, Conference Freshman of the Year, 2nd-team All-Conference performer. Now missing right there on the 3 was Zion White.
Unless they get an easy one, they're going to wind up in a double-digit deficit in a hurry here.
Matlow gets it to go. Ryan Matlow gets his first 2. It's a 10-point lead for the homestanding Flames.
Well, that's why that run-out was so important, as we're going to get a timeout here by Bart Lundy. He needs to settle his guys down a bit. You got to fight off the initial surge of momentum, the initial surge of adrenaline, rather, not let that momentum get completely out of hand. Had they gotten that run out, that might have been just the play to do it. Liberty getting the easy buckets here. They've got 2 stickbacks. Now they got a leak out there. Athletic move to finish it by Matlow, and a good finish, but again, set up by the pass. Sarchet's done a great job. Rever, he scored on the baseline move. He's got 4 points, and now he makes the nice pass right there to get his teammate the easy one.
Yeah, he and Snead and Glenn Turner, who we have not seen yet, split time in the middle. Snead got the start, but came out fairly early. And as you say, Jason Sarchet, a guy who started his career at Drake before transferring here. Here's the road to the final for Liberty, and they beat Charleston Southern in the first round, and then Coastal Carolina in the semifinals. Both those games played at home because these games are all played on the court of the higher seed.
Take a look at High Point's road to get here as well. Defeated UNC Asheville, last year's champion, in the semifinals. And it is, you know, the situation for Bart Lundy here is if he can get his guys settled, get a bucket or 2 here, he'll get the media timeout at the next stoppage. So he'll get to resettle his team again. But right now, this adrenaline surge of the Flames has got them to an early double-digit lead.
Now, High Point, as you said, had a lot of good looks, but just 1 of 11 from the field for them. You see the numbers there. Liberty 6 of 11. High Point scores 73 points a game, so this is a team certainly that can come back.
Well, you expect runs. Anytime you got a team that averages in the 70s, they play for runs. They expect runs, so it's not too daunting to see a double-digit lead against that, but Randy Dutton's team's a good defensive team.
Well, there's Gathings. They got to get him going. They're unable to do so. Now a battle on the floor, and there's going to be a foul. It's going to go against the Flames. Brian Woodson.
That's going to be number 2 on Woodson, I believe.
That is indeed. So that's going to be a problem for Woodson.
First official break here.
It's a 10-point lead for the Flames over High Point. We'll be back in a moment. Let's get it, though, to Pam Ward in the studio. Pam?
All right, Dave, the Big East, Boston College and Providence, their tournament starts later this week. And Providence down early 23-4. Craig Smith hits it there. An upset in the making as number 13 is losing. We'll have more on championship week.
ESPN2's presentation of the 2004 Big South Conference Men's Basketball Tournament is presented by Advance Auto Parts. We're ready in advance. Advance Auto Parts. And in part by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. And Lexus and their passionate pursuit of perfection.
Back in Lynchburg, Virginia, plenty to cheer about early for the Liberty fans as Liberty leads this one 12-2 over High Point. Dave Revson and Bob Valvano with you. And Bob, obviously a tremendous start here for Liberty.
Yeah, I mean, there's no two ways to look at that. Liberty has unbeaten on this court in the conference all year. They have a 10-point lead early and all the momentum. A difficult task for High Point. The other side is Bart Lundy is saying, hey, we're getting good shots. Let's just settle down. They need one play to get them back in the mindset that the game is on. Game's not on just yet, but the bad news is it doesn't get on soon. Could be over for them. You don't want to get down too far in this building, that's for sure.
This is Landon Quick out top. One of their very talented freshmen. Zion White. This guy's got to get going. Gavin cannot get it to go. And as you said off the top, Liberty has had his number this year.
They really have defended him very, very well. 2 games.
David Pease, another one of the great freshmen for Liberty, misses that one. And a foul on the rebound.
Going to be Mantlo, I think, grabbing a bit. It's been a very aggressive game. Both these teams are willing to get after you. As we said earlier, High Point will score more points, play a little bit faster tempo, but Randy Dutton is not going to hold back either. They will get up and down Rudy as well.
They're going to give that foul, actually, to Jason Sarshin. That's going to be number 1 for him.
Mantlo is mixed in there as well, and both of them not in any kind of foul trouble.
White cannot get it to go. Gavin's on the boards and lays it in.
Maybe that gets them going, and you know what? That's the best way to get going is don't try and do it out of a set play. Go create one for yourself by getting one on the offensive glass. No coach wants anybody is concerned about being selfish when it comes to rebounding. Get everyone in the game. That's fine.
He was the only player in the nation last year to lead his conference in scoring and rebounding. Gavin's a transfer from Virginia Tech.
12 double-doubles this year. How consistently he does it.
Blair misses that one, but Mantlo in there battling for the board, and Liberty going to get a fresh 35. 3 out of the corner, no good by Dees. Crashing for the rebound was Martin.
Boy, was he ever. He was over some guys' backs.
Quick into the lane and gets it to go.
That's what I told you, though, Reverend. One play gets you going. The follow by Gathings was a settling play for this team. They said, okay, our good guys off the schneid here. That's the way we play. Now we're back in business. Now Liberty's got to answer.
I still can't get over Gabe Martin's vertical leap though.
He was actually on somebody's back for a while. He didn't hover it, really.
Hits the 3 ball, so he can do it inside, he can do it outside.
Yeah, versatile player, almost a 35% three-point shooter. He's the leader on the team in steals. He and Gathings will never be confused as one-dimensional players, that's for sure.
Well, Randy Dutton says we don't run anything for him. He gets it all on his own. Already has 5 points in this one. They get it inside. Hilliman missing point blank.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get it. Not going to get an easier shot than that.
Don't forget North Carolina and Duke. Tonight, ESPN celebrating Perhaps the best rivalry in college basketball. A whole day of events from Cameron Indoor Stadium. 80s College Game Night presented by Wachovia Securities, live from the famed arena. Then at 9, Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale have the call as the number 3 Duke Blue Devils take on North Carolina. Duke and Carolina also available on ESPN HD. Quick misses the hanger right there.
Bad shot there. They missed the bunny, and then they took a bad force shot after the second opportunity. Another charge. That's 2 now. It'll be on Martin.
That is number 1 on Gabe Martin.
Take a look right here. Gets it with his back to the basket. A little inside pivot. Tries to go baseline. Good quickness on this team. We talked about that. High Point's got great team speed, but they are just wasting opportunity after opportunity. Eventually, that's going to catch up with them. Has already a 9-point deficit.
This is Martin. Nice move. Gets into the lane, lays it off for Sargent, and lays it in.
Well, that was a nice job avoiding the charge, getting in the lane, read and react what the defense gives you, and finding Sargent, who gets now his 6th point.
11 in the game for High Point is Javier Palacios as Ishinike gets fouled on the way to the hoop. That foul's going to go against David Dees. So Ishinike goes to the line. And he misses the first one badly. A 65% foul shooter on the year, native of Honduras.
Let me give a word of warning. I have seen championship games where once it gets off the tracks, you never get it back on. And right now, High Point is teetering that way. Guys who are fairly good free throw shooters, 66% foul shooters, should not miss that badly. They've missed at least 6 layups. And right now, instead of getting it righted, it's getting wobblier, if there is such a word. Take a look at the fouls. That's a indication of the aggressiveness by the home team. It hasn't hurt them too badly.
Ishinike does roll in his 3rd point now for Bart Lundy's team. Still down by 10. Liberty has been in control the whole way. Martin out top. This is Clint Turner, who we talked about.
Good call.
And he gets fouled as he gets grabbed by Ishinike.
Good call. If you're going to get out there, and he knows it. You want to put good ball pressure. We talked about that. What they try and do is put the good ball pressure on and then come to help. It's the tail end of it. He was out there on the perimeter trying to force the dribble, and then we're looking for his teammates for help. But as he did it, a little bit too active with the hands.
So the Liberty Flames, the worst team in the nation per the RPI a couple years ago. 1 win away from making it to the tournament. High Point, the best turnaround in the nation this year in terms of win improvement over a year ago. Actually 2nd best in the nation. So these are 2 teams that really have dramatically improved in the last couple of years as the shot clock winds down towards 5 seconds. Somebody's going to have to shoot it here. Larry Blair does and nails the 3.
Well, that was a big 3 because they went zone. They got them to run the shot clock down under 5. Looked like a kind of wobbly possession for Liberty. Instead of getting nothing out of it, they get a 3 and wind up extending that lead.
Lead now up to 13 as Palacios tries to answer. He's unable to do so. Working the board, though, as Gath thinks he can't get it to go. Now Ishinike gets the rebound and puts it in.
Well, you know what? That's got to be the mindset right now. Nothing's working offensively. We're not in a flow. Let's try and ride it out with the offensive glass. Go to the boards, get some stickbacks.
Now Matlow nearly has it stolen by Gathings. Gets it back, though, and gets it to Turner. This is Dees. Now Blair.
Yeah, see, that is the danger when you play that way, especially from behind. You're trying to extend the defense and put the pressure on. You get a bit impatient, a bit grabby and bumpy, and eventually you wind up sending them to the line. So another perimeter foul there.
There's one team that may be missing from this conference tournament. We'll tell you where they are when we return. We are back in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty on top 20-9 over High Point. Dave Revson, Bob Valvano with you, and we are joined now by Dwayne Reboll, the Big South Coach of the Year from Birmingham Southern, a team that is conspicuous in his absence from this tournament. And explain to us why your team isn't in.
Well, when we made the move to Division I 5 years ago, we understood that we would not be able to compete until the 6th year. We are in our 5th year of our transition, which means we're an active member right now. All of our other sports are able to compete in conference tournament play except men's basketball. So we've got one more year after this year, and perhaps they're talking in April about rescinding the rule. If they do, then they'll give us an opportunity next year.
How much was, because you guys finished tied for first place in the regular season, how much of that was your championship and your players? Well, what you talked about?
Bob, I think it was throughout the season that every game was monumental because that was our chance. Our shining moment was conference play. And I thought our players played extremely well. We had a great year. We finished 20-7, 12-4 in the league, and we led the league in a number of statistics. And it was just a great year for our players. And we're hoping that we can get an NIT bid. And hopefully the NIT will respond and offer us an invitation.
Well, Coach, what's going through your mind as you beat both of these teams, you split with them? What's going through your mind as you watch this and knowing you can't compete in it?
Well, this is a great environment to be playing in. I'd love for our players to have an opportunity to play in this environment with the conference championship or tournament championship on the line and an opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. It's a great environment. I think it's very good for our conference.
All right, very quickly, how do you assess the first 10 minutes so far?
Well, again, I think Liberty's defense is just they're really getting into the players, and obviously they're playing on a high emotional level right now, and I think it's going to be very difficult for High Point to come back. They're not a great three-point shooting team, and I hate to see them get down because that could make it very difficult for them to come back.
All right, Dwayne Reboll, the Conference Coach of the Year here in the Big South. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you,
appreciate it. Best of luck trying to get that NIT bid. We've got some action inside and a very hard foul by Chris Meeks.
You take a look here. Watch the stumble out of bounds here. Hilleman starts stumbling out of bounds, just throws it. That's the first rule. You never save it under your own basket. Watch again. Contact with a good no call there. And he stumbles over the fallen Mantlo and then throws it right to the front of the goal where Martin takes it and tries to flush it. And you got to take a foul there. Meeks has to take a foul to keep from giving up an easy one, but a very hard foul. And now Martin to the line. As we said, Reverend, Coach just underscored for us. This is really a High Point team that has gotten off the rails here and not found a way to get it back on.
Well, that is for sure. As Martin now, as you can see, has 6 points. Dwayne Reboll, to finish up the story, a guy who very successful at the NAIA level. He talked about making that transition to NAIA national championships, 15 years at Birmingham Southern. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the NIT takes him. They have an RPI of about 164. The NIT seems to have been more concerned in recent years with the NIT, or with the RPI, I should say. But that's certainly, this is part of the reason you would think the NIT would expand to 40, to allow a team like that shared its regular season conference crown to have a shot to go some more basketball.
Good point, Liz. Oh, come on! Boy, they are just continuing to labor. Just getting around the basket and not getting anything to go. And they're not a great three-point shooting team, as he pointed out. So if they're not making those inside shots, it's a long road back. We coached against each other. He's a class act, by the way. They run a great program over there. They're making a move up to Division I.
Battle for the loose ball after Martin misses inside, and the Flames will keep it. 22-9 here. Liberty on top of High Point. Championship week presented by 7-Up. It's the Big South championship game.
High Point only makes about a little more than 4 threes a game. And so they're not going to score a bunch quickly off of threes. They got to get their defense working, get some turnovers and some leak outs. And here's a chance. They got a 3-on-2.
Well, Martin left that three short, and Sullivan White throws it down.
Well, they've been, we've seen this movie before. That was the follow earlier by Gathings that got a little momentum for them, and they couldn't capitalize. We'll see if that gets them going. If that doesn't, then they've got serious issues. It's a good sign that they push Liberty all the way out here to the midline defensively. They got to get some easy ones. Nice job by Mantlo to settle things back down.
Martin now top. Now Sarcher has had a good first half. Knocked away, but Martin saves it. Shot clock down to 8 seconds.
Well, nice job. Two things very well done here in transition. First of all, the spacing is good. They get nice and wide. The two defenders can't guard all three of them. And then the other thing is he gives them the pass early. Does a nice job of getting the pass Quick does a good job of making the quick pass to give White enough time to get that finish, and got another rise out of the crowd when they played on.
I have to say it was three things that were done fairly nicely, as the three-pointer is airballed right there by Brian Woodson. Shot clock winding down. It's going to go to High Point. Again, championship week presented by 7-Up. High Point and Liberty from the Vine Center in Lynchburg, Virginia, for the Big South title. Dave Revs and Bob Valvano. But I would argue that Zion White's dunk was pretty good, too.
Yeah, that was nice. That was the result, though, of all the other good things. Now they get a shot clock violation, High Point. They score here. The momentum might suddenly have shifted a bit. That's a big shot and not even close.
Now, Meeks missed it badly, but they get it back. Ishinike misses inside. He's had all kinds of problems down low. He's going to stay, though, with Liberty.
He's their leading scorer, though. He's the only player on the team with more than one field goal. He's got 5 points. If they can score here, as I said, they'll be within 10 and really almost have no business being there with how poorly they've shot early. So that could be a momentum builder for them.
This is Meeks. And he throws it away. Great hustle by Sarchik. Did he get the timeout? Yes, he did.
Great defensive play. Take a look. Watch how quickly. First of all, he's pinned on the back, but does a good job stepping around with the left hand and then gets to the floor quickly. The big guy able to cover the ball quickly like a lineman in football. When it's loose there, you got to get your body down there to secure it. At the very least, get a tie-up. And actually got the ball and able to call timeout.
Now Sunday, ABC Sports bringing you an NBA doubleheader featuring two of the league's premier big men. First, Texas shootout. Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks taking on Yao Ming and the Rockets. Then an East-West showdown. Jason Kidd of the Nets facing off against Shaq's Lakers. Coverage begins Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific on ABC, home of the NBA Finals. And there you see Jason Sarchik, who made that nice play.
He's got 6 points, has made his presence felt. And again, not to dump it on one guy's back or in his lap, but Gathings, Danny Gathings again. We are almost 12 minutes in. He has 2 points in the ball game.
The Big South Player of the Year.
What are they doing here? That's an odd bit of pressure there. It almost looked as if Liberty was shooting at the goal to our right. They were running their baseline out of bounds play. They took off 2 guys on a run, and if they looked, I think they might have gotten a layup out of the deal. That was interesting.
As it is, Woodson brings it into the front court and very much under control, as you said, Bob, with that 11-point lead. They're in no hurry. Larry Blair trying to get it into Sarchik, and he is fouled inside by Ishinike.
Ishinike is a physical player. Of that, there's no secret, but that's his second foul, and he's about the only one who's had any kind of an offensive presence with 5 points. He goes to the bench. They would be losing quite a bit right now as they try and weather the storm. They've got to find a way to get Gathings involved. If they come down 5 straight times and make sure he shoots it, they got to do something. They don't win without him having at least an average game, and he's not even close right now to that.
This is Blair. Now Matt Lowe.
But they're very confident right now, Liberty, doing just what they want to do now against the zone, with space and good patience.
Blair's pull-up is no good. And Gathings comes out of there with the rebound.
Defending him very well.
Knocked out of bounds. It's going to go to Liberty as we continue here on Championship Week.
With a win today, Pittsburgh will lock up the top seed in the Big East tournament, but Villanova has other thoughts. Allen Ray going to come down and knock down the 2. Remember, Pittsburgh lost its last home game, and they are losing now at the half to Villanova as we go back to Dave.
How about that? Some interesting stuff there, Pam. As Pittsburgh trying to clinch a #1 seed in the Big East tourney with a win. But as Pam said, down in that one. Liberty on top here, 22-11. Dave Revs and Bob Valvano back with you in Lynchburg, Virginia.
20% shooting for High Point. They've already made 5 turnovers, only forced 3. That's a recipe for being down 11.
That would tend to explain it. A 3 on the way by Blair, and he's got it. Larry Blair hits.
Well, they're in deep trouble now. They are absolutely, and now having a timeout against a one-man press, and you got to call a timeout. You have absolutely gotten off the rails, and they've got to find a way to get it back, and it starts with number 55, Danny Gathings, who has only 2 points up till this point.
Bart Lundy's team down 14 right now, and Larry Blair, the freshman, really getting it going.
It's a deep three off a nice ball reversal. They've moved the ball very well when they've seen the changing defenses.
Guy was a top 150 recruit in the nation, according to several recruiting services, and really just a great get for Randy Dutton, who's done a nice job. He has two very good freshmen, Larry Blair and David Dees, have both been outstanding for him. Got an NBA special on ESPN tomorrow. Special day and time. Paul Pierce and the Boston Celtics continuing their fight for a playoff berth as they visit Kevin Garnett, Sam Cassell, and the T. Wolfsman, one of the NBA's better stories this year. Again, that's tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, an NBA special on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Yeah, well, that's the way he scores. Martin actually scores inadvertently for them. That's maybe their best offense. How about that story, though, where Danny Ainge comes out and said, hey, I'd rather miss the playoffs and get a better draft pick. Not sure.
Like I thought that
what your fans want to hear.
Not many people really say it, do they? Blair spinning into the lane, misses that one, and the rebound goes to Gathings, who got the credit for that last basket, although, as you pointed out, it was tipped in by Martin. It was an own goal, as they say inside. Gathings through the lane, could have been called for the charge, but he wasn't. Rebound is blocked. They knock it around.
Well, that's the only thing that has kept them from being down even worse than they already are. Randy Dutton is beside himself. If you look at the bench, you'll actually see two Randy Duttons. He's literally behind himself. Why he didn't shoot that, I'm not entirely sure. He passed up the open shot for a wild, off-balance, left-handed drive. You look at this. This is maybe he's trying to draw the foul. That's a terrible shot. But they do keep it alive on the glass, and that gives them, I believe, unofficially now 12 offensive rebounds already for High Point. That's what's keeping them in the ballgame. But Gathings is a good three-point shooter. He doesn't take many, but he shoots over 40%, Rever. That would have been a good wide-open look from the top. Maybe get his team kick-started a bit.
As it is, Sarchik gets called for his second foul, so Ishinike goes to the line.
Been an adventure when he's been at the stripe so far. Now 1 for 4 with that miss.
7th leading rebounder, 11th leading scorer in the conference this year.
And this is interesting. Gathings is going to come out. Let's see how they play without him. They haven't been able to make a run with him.
Again, the conference player of the year, really struggling. 4 points, and 2 of them were tipped in by an opposing player.
Well, let's give Gabe, since we talked about Martin inadvertently tipping it in there, and they get nothing out of that possession. Wow. Let's give
Martin's done a great job, no question about it.
He has got 7 points for his own team, and he's done a terrific job defensively, really giving them a great presence.
He said, hey, I wanted to play college basketball because I wanted a ring, and I wanted the challenge of covering Gathings, and he has been more than up to it. Held him to 17 combined in the first 2 games between these two. Liberty won both of those. And again, Gathings really struggling in this one.
Nice cut there, but good reaction. Again, that's a very quick defensive team. But kind of a sloppy bucket, but there's no pictures on the scoreboard.
9 points now for Martin. 27-13 in favor of the Flames. That one just flat out thrown into Blair's hands, and now Blair kicks it out of bounds.
He thought he got bumped.
Martin having himself a game just to...
Yeah, he's done a terrific job, the all-conference player. And what he did last time was he created some motion, which is what got them that, even though it was a sloppy bucket, they ran the shot clock down. Martin's got 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. As we said, a very well-rounded player. And Rever, I watched him away from the ball last time. He was talking to his teammates, telling them where to go, who to screen. When they got that spread set at the end of the short shot clock, he was the one that got the bucket off the loose ball, and he deserved it, frankly.
Young man who started his career at Binghamton University. Ball's knocked around, and here come the Flames. Matlow. Abdi's going to try the 3, and he's got it.
Well, so far, a dream afternoon for Randy Dutton. His team has done everything that they need to do.
Gathings. He gets fouled on the way to the hoop. The crowd doesn't like it, but I'll tell you what, an offensive foul in that situation would have probably brought down the house. Glenn Turner gets called for it.
And look at this nice spacing. They've done a really good job of simple spacing, finding open men. D's off the pass from Matlow. He's open on the wing. And now the quick penetration and then the foul at the other end. Here's another look at the 3. He's a good 3-point shooter. D shoots over 37% from this 3-point line and has made more than anybody on the ball club.
So it's 30-15 in favor of Liberty. Gathings a very long journey to find himself at High Point. So he hits the free throw there. A guy who started at Virginia Tech, had to take the SAT 9 times in order to qualify to get to Virginia Tech. He was at Hargrave Military Academy. He said, there were so many times I thought about giving up, but I so desperately wanted to play college basketball. And it did work out for him. Ended up starting at Virginia Tech as a freshman, averaged about 7 points a game, and then decided to head closer to home to High Point. Has a couple of kids, Isaiah, who is 3, and Josiah, who is 1, and wanted to be closer to them at Winston-Salem.
Well, we said at the top, Dave, that these teams are similar in a lot of ways, but the one thing you can hang your hat on as a different is Liberty makes far more three-pointers, and they are already off to that good start there. They've got 4. High Point has yet to make one. That's 12 points you got to make up, and when you're shooting in the 20s percentage-wise inside the arc, it's a long road to hoe for High Point. They're going to have to find some ways to get some easy buckets. Now they show the zone on that baseline out of bounds. Look at the good spacing and the good ball movement. Oh, good quick hands that time. That's a good defensive play.
As Brett Halsh just into the game, number 40, making that play. Gathings in transition, spinning in on Martin, and they call the walk.
Trying too hard. Made the 3-point play last time. Said, maybe I'm going to get on a run here, but you can't force it. The great ones know when to let the game come to them and seize it by the throat when it does. And that was not the game coming to Danny Gathings that time. Oh, that would have been a great chance.
Knocks it away there. Martin recovers, though. Ends up in the hands of Woodson. Now Martin having some trouble with it as the shot clock winds down to 15. Still plenty of time for the Flames.
Well, they're very calm when it gets under 10, though. No panic on this team.
Now Woodson. They'll start thinking about it. Blair can't get that one to go. And the rebound to Halsh. He's made a nice impact in his couple minutes on the floor.
A smart player, smart in the classroom. Nice move that time by Quick. The double clutch drive. Hanging around, but they're not hanging around close enough for Bart Lundy's desire, I'm sure. 12 points, still a big hole to dig out of.
So High Point does get the hoop in transition from Landon Quick. They need a lot more of those, though. Bart Lundy pleading with his team. They are down by a dozen.
Look at that in the lane, good quickness. Not an easy shot, but did a good job of reacting to what the defense gave him. This is such a good defensive team. When Randy Dutton got the job here, he said, we are going to make a recommitment to being one of the best defensive teams in the country. And they've done a good job of that. They give up just 43% shooting. They played a difficult schedule. So he does not very often see his team let a guy go down the lane and finish with a layup.
And they're also shooting the 3 very well in this game, Bob.
Well, as we said, they're exploiting the advantage they have. They're a better 3-point shooting team. Take a look. A lot of different guys with a finger in the pie. Martin's got one. Take a look at Blair. He's got 2. Dees has one as well. Play resumes. The ball laid at the floor here. Neither team's quite ready to go. Liberty hustles, gets it inbounds.
And Woodson brings it into the front court. Work it inside. The turnaround on the blocks by Dees.
Nice job. Coaching by Randy Dutton. He took a 30, settled his team down, drew that play up, got it right where he wanted. Now they're back up 14. On the floor, it'll be a bump.
It's going to go against Dees. That'll be number 2 on him.
Amazingly, Liberty's not even in the bonus yet. Liberty has, High Point rather, has only committed 5 fouls. Liberty's already in the double penalty, so this will be 2 shots for everything here for High Point.
Joshua Chambers going to the line. Hits the first one. First point for him. A native of Panama. Played at Berkshire Academy in Florida, a team that included Jaime Ureta, LSU, and Jamal Levy. The team was actually kicked out of the Florida High School Association for recruiting allegations. They ended up traveling more than 11,000 miles by van in order to play their games. So they traveled a long way. Coming from Panama to High Point is nothing compared to that. Championship week presented by 7-Up Liberty. About 23 minutes away from punching a ticket to the big game.
Coming up on the first day of championship week presented by 7-Up on the halftime report, we will take a look at the Southern Conference Championship. There is a bid up for grabs there. Also an upset already in the Big East regular season. And we'll go to our game day crew there in Durham. Duke and North Carolina going to play later tonight. We'll see you soon on the 7-Up halftime report. Now let's go back to Dave Rutson.
Okay, Pam, thanks a lot. Here it's a 12-point lead for Liberty. How'd you like to be Carolina? You got to go into Duke. It's already your arch rival and pumped up. Then you got to go in after they just lost at home for the first time in 41 games.
I don't think Coach K had trouble getting the players' attention this week.
I would think motivation probably not an issue.
Look at that bench scoring. That is a telling stat because they have had a good bench. Liberty outscoring them 11 zip from the bench. Here's one of the guys, one of the reasons why he's held on the floor. Won't be one-on-one just yet, though. Sarchette's got 6 points and has done a good job. But their bench in 16 of the last 21 games has scored 20 or more points. That's significant work, and they have certainly exploited that today.
Ball goes against Gathings, number 2 for him. That's basically been 2 guys. In fact, it totally has been 2 guys. It's been Sarchett and it's been Dees. Coming off the bench, you're doing a good job. 35% of their points they get from the bench. Very deep team.
Next one, they'll be in the one-on-one. Every foul now for the rest of the half will be on the free throw line again, as they have done frequently. Out of bounds plays. High Point goes to that 2-3 zone.
This is Sarchett on the baseline. Now taken into the lane. Nice pass by Woodson. Martin misses the layup. And we've got a foul, and it's going to go against High Point. And that might be on Ishinike. No, I'm sorry. That's not. In fact, it's going to go against Zion White.
Yeah. And it is, as we said, 1-on-1 now. Martin, a 76% free throw shooter. If you're Bart Lundy, you're thinking to yourself, if there's any way at all I could get this thing around 7 at the half, I'm going to feel like I robbed a bank with everything that's gone wrong for us. They're down 12 right now, and that's a tall task, especially since Martin has made the first free throw. But that's the hardest thing in a championship game when you get down, convincing your players there's no 13-point plays. You know, it's just get back to what we do. But right now, what they do has not been good enough. Liberty's had all the answers.
Told you about Martin starting his career at Binghamton. Got to know Randy Dunn, who was an assistant there. Martin transferred home to junior college because his mother had breast cancer, and he wanted to be a little closer to her in the state of Kansas. Cheryl Martin is at the game. She has recovered nicely, and he said he felt very comfortable coming out and playing for Dutton, who had subsequently gotten the head coaching job here. Now off the block by Matlow. Here comes Liberty the other way.
That's the great defense we talked about. And as we said, they will push it. Ball slipped out of Matlow's hands. Unfortunately for him, they did a nice job. Took it to the middle of the floor. Liberty does a nice job of quickly getting good spacing offensively. They rarely are getting in each other's way. It's surprising how frequently good shots are taken away from teams from their own teammates.
8 blocks so far in the game for Liberty to just 1 for High Point. So lots of discrepancies here in the stats. You see one right there, but nice little baby hook there by Ishinike.
He's been about the only bright spot when they've thrown it in there. He has done something productive. He's been able to make some of his free throws. He'd be a double-figure scorer. He has 7 right now. He's missed 4 free throws.
Blair going to pull things back out. Martin working the baseline. Not a great ball handler. As it knocked away, it will be Liberty basketball.
And he's doing everything he can, trying to sell calls to the officials. It's still 12. This thing's double digits at the half. It's a long road to a team that has not lost to a Big South team all year in this building. They could get it to 7 or 6. They would feel like they've negated some of the big hole, and they got to win the second half. And you feel like at least you've got a fighting shot. Very difficult right now. And Bart Lundy knows that he is up active on the sideline, jumping around, encouraging his team.
A very critical 2 minutes here because as poorly as High Point's played, as you said, still within striking range. Blair with the shot clock winding down, misses. Underneath Dees gets the rebound.
Well, now what that is it's going to be called a blocked shot that then hit the back of the backboard. The back of the backboard's out of bounds. Wait a second, there should not be a new shot clock here, though. Watch it again. You see one on the shot clock. There's the rebound. Now he shoots it. It's a clean block, and then it hits the back of the backboard. So by being a clean block and hitting the backboard, the possession stays with Liberty, but it should not be a new shot clock. They should not have 35.
And that's what they're discussing.
It should only be a few seconds less than 35, but it should be about 32 or 31. Watch here. There's the clean block, and then there's the ball hits the basket support. And now they've reset the shot clock to 32, and I think they got it right. There you go.
Just kind of assumed the held ball when I saw the official call for the reset of the shot clock, but you were all over it.
Oh, hey. when you're down and you're in a game like this, you watch every tiny mannerism of the officials because you want to see. Do I have to call a play here? A defense? What do I have to call? Martin Lundy was trying to sell it as a turnover, and it wasn't. Good jump stop. Nice jump stop.
That should be a goaltend.
Attaboy, Rever. That's a good call.
There we
Stick
go.
your hand up through the bottom. You can't do that. You couldn't do that when you played in Ireland, could you, in that league?
I did that a few times.
Nice jump stop. That was set up by a terrific little, it seems like such a simple thing that time by Woodson. The jump stop right there does two things. One, it avoids the charge in the lane. And two, it lets you get the elevation to get away from the defense and get that shot off. You're not taking one of those off-balance leaners where you're in a weak position. It could be blocked. You got a good, strong jumping position. And that's going to be an offensive foul. A good call, too. Push off by Quick on the dribble.
All right, don't forget, coming up at halftime, Pam Ward, the 7-Up halftime report. She's going to bring you up to date on an upset in the Big East. Panthers and Villanova, big one for Pitt. Last time we checked in, they were trailing in that one. And we'll get you ready for the big showdown between Duke and Carolina at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Pam Ward standing by in the studio.
Well, as we said, for Liberty, they are taking care of business today in every way. And I think Randy Dutton isn't aware of what we talked about. He has this double-digit lead. He wants to get to the locker room with that lead. He doesn't want a 6 or 7 point lead. Now they've got it to 14 and the basketball very much in control here under a minute.
They've only been to the tournament once. That was 10 years ago, lost to North Carolina. A game they actually led with 10 minutes to go before kind of getting blown away down the stretch by the then #1 seeded Tar Heels. Trying to get back for a second time.
Nice cut.
Martin leaves it in the lane for Sarchik, and he is going to the strike.
Boy, they are a very confident bunch right now. And first of all, make the first pass to Martin. You've got to be playing with a great flow. And then Martin, with the presence of mind, to make a second pass. Talk about a great interior pass. Finding Sarchik able to draw the foul, but Martin has done a little bit of everything today. Double-figure scoring already. Nice pass right there. Good movement without the ball when the defense gets stagnated.
Sarchik goes to the line. He now has 7 points. 5 games as a freshman at Drake. He is a native of Newell, Iowa, and went to Indian Hills Junior College before coming here to Liberty. The top rebounders in the Big South, 4th in the conference in rebounding last year, and he has really had a nice game for them. 8 points off the bench.
Well, Randy Dutton, as we said, took over a program that had won 5 games 2 years ago. And you talk about good fits. They always say horses for courses when you talk about golfers or obviously racehorses. This is a perfect fit. He was the assistant here, an interim coach here for a while, passed over to get the job last time, and by his own admission, disappointed he didn't get it, but knows how to recruit here, knows the unique climate that is Liberty University, and has done very well with it and recruited very well.
Missed there by Landon Quick. And now Liberty, about a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. What do you do here, Bobby? Just sit on it?
You sit on it. If you said before the game, hey, Randy, you can go in up 16 at the half, he'd say, where do I sign?
You think he would have taken it?
I think he'd be
really
more than delighted. So if you don't even get a shot off, what you don't want to do is shoot too quickly and let them. It absolutely has got to be a last shot. 16 is fine. Don't get greedy.
Well, Matlow did a good job of working it down. Now High Point extending the defense a little bit. Blair losing it. Gets it off, though, to Lightbourne, who misses. Now inside, they'll draw a foul, and Martin's going to go to the strike.
Perfect possession.
You can't choreograph it better.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. As sloppy as it may have looked, that's all you care about. You're up 16. Make sure you don't shoot till it's under 5. Don't give them a chance. You get a foul. Now you get a chance to get points and set your defense. If he goes to the line and makes these, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. You can extend a little pressure. You can pick them up the timeline. Make sure that the best shooters are located. Great bit of hustle. They made all the hustle plays today, Reverend.
Ball on Joshua Chambers, number 2 on him as Martin hits the free throw.
Well,
gives him 12 points.
Hubie Brown is fond of saying, gauge your players by what they do in their biggest games. Don't be fooled by a 30-point game against the worst team in your league. Gabe Martin has certainly stepped up today, and as he did in the 2 regular season meetings between these 2 teams, that Liberty won both of them. I think you see he's got impressive numbers on the year to begin with, but boy, has he stepped it up on the biggest stage. 6 for 6 from the line. Great defensive job. He has been just terrific so far.
And Martin gets a warm round of applause, but actually some of that applause might be for Jeff Reber, who is a walk-on little used player, a real crowd favorite, and he gets
Look at this.
2
Look at this.
seconds. Matt Lowe nearly hits from half court. That would have been a very fitting pepper to a great first half for Liberty. As it is, Dave Martin, 13 points and 5 boards. And Pam Ward, Liberty is 20 minutes away from punching a ticket to the dance. They're up by 18.
All right, Dave, as we are here for the 7-Up halftime report, High Point just a couple of years ago, RPI-wise, was literally the worst team in the country, and now they're, Liberty was, excuse me, as they are taking on High Point now for the Big South Championship. Already, so we're going to have 4 tickets punched to the big dance today, and already we have 1 team in. Congratulations for the 2nd straight season. East Tennessee State, for the 2nd straight year, has won its Southern Conference Final against Chattanooga, so they advance on. Now 27 wins on the season, as East Tennessee State lost 97-90 last year. It was 78-62 this year. East Tennessee State is in. The other 3 bids to be decided right now. You are watching Liberty and High Point. Liberty again, 2 years ago, the worst team in the country as far as RPI is concerned, and they are getting close with an 18-point lead at the half. Coming up at 4 Eastern time on ESPN2, Troy State and Central Florida play for the Atlantic Sun Championship, and then the Ohio Valley Conference Championship, the 1 and 2 seeds there as well, Austin Peay and Murray State. Let's look at some news and notes now. Kobe Bryant hurt his right shoulder for the 3rd time this season, as he hurt it against Seattle. He will have an MRI later today. Terrell Owens not happy at all about being a Raven. He told ESPN that he will file a grievance against the 49ers for the way they handled his trade and make it 7 prep players who've been cleared for early entrance into the NFL draft as the fallout continues from Maurice Clarett. We have an upset in the Big East. BC and Providence going after each other. We'll be back with more on Championship Week.
ESPN2's presentation of the 2004 Big South Conference Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by Advance Auto Parts, is brought to you by Infiniti, makers of the QX56, a full-size SUV coming in February 2004, and Beck's Beard, who reminds you that life beckons and you're holding the key. Welcome back to the 7-Up Halftime Report.
The Big East regular season is wrapping up, and Pittsburgh tries to wrap up the regular season title, but Villanova playing great early. Allen Ray draining the 3. How about an 11-2 lead for Nova? Now Mike Nardi, his turn to spot up and throw it down. Nova's lead is 17-3, but Pittsburgh coming back. Chris Taft helping. Nice turnaround jumper. Nova up by 10 now over Pittsburgh, and now more Chris Taft. Follow, slam it home. It's only a 6-point lead. Now in the second half, Jaron Brown from the left corner. Pittsburgh with the lead as they come from behind. Just a crummy start for them, and only a 1-point lead now with 9 minutes and 12 seconds left to go for Pittsburgh. Remember, they were coming off their first loss at the Peterson Event Center, losing to Syracuse in overtime. They're only beating Nova by 1. Boston College and Providence. It's all BC early. How about a 23-4 lead? Sean Marshall hitting the 3. And then in the second half, it starts to get physical. Uka Akbai hooked underneath. Jared Dudley not liking the hooking and the extra contact. BC up by 9. And Craig Smith hits a jumper just inside the 3-point line. BC upsets Providence 63-54 is the final. Ryan Gomes missed his first 7 shots, ended up with 13 points on 4 of 15 shooting. BC led 33-15 at the half as they both head towards the Big East tournament. Oklahoma State and Texas A&M. Senior day at Gallagher Iba Arena. Joey Graham celebrates, knocking down the jumper as Cowboys go up early. Now John Lucas, boy, what an addition he has been to this ball club this year. And then more John Lucas. Floater in the lane. Beautiful. It's 13-5. And now Lucas shows he's not just a shooter with the alley. Oop! Tony Allen finishes it in style. And this one is not much of a ball game, as all as expected. Oklahoma State leading 43-26, still 13 minutes and change left to go in this, as Oklahoma State tries to clinch its first outright Big 12 title since the 64-65 season. They are in great shape. ACC basketball. Herb Sendek and NC State taking on Wake Forest. Julius Hodge off the inbounds puts it home. Wake up 25-19. Now Wake on the fast break. Justin Gray pulling it up, and it's a 5-point Wake lead. Late in the first half, Eric Williams inside, fancy passing, and Williams finishes it up. Wake Forest led by 12 at the half, and right now NC State has come from behind, and the Wolfpack leading on the road by 4. Still with plenty of time left to go in this one. State can clinch the #2 seed in the ACC tournament with a win. Indiana 13-14 on the season as they lose to Wisconsin. They'll have to win the Big Ten tournament to go to the Big Dance. And Marquette over Louisville now 52-48. We'll be back with more of a look ahead to Duke, Carolina on the 7-Up halftime report.
This halftime report is presented by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. This is the 7-Up halftime report.
Not even a steady rain here in Durham can dampen the enthusiasm for the approaching Duke-Carolina game for the 8-7 in the ACC Tar Heels. This will be a measuring stick.
This is the big test. There's no question about that because of the success that they've had and the enthusiasm that their crowd has. And so it'll be a big-time challenge for us.
It gives you a chance to play like a kind of a regional championship type of game, a Final Four atmosphere game, before going into the tournament.
Jay Billis, Brad Doherty here with me. Not to disagree with Coach K, Jay, but I think this might have a magnitude all of its own.
There's an element that's bigger than the Final Four in this game because you're judged as a player by how you perform in this rivalry, your record, how you do as a player. It's kind of like Herb Brooks said, you're going to take it to your grave. And I worry sometimes about getting too hyped up for this game, that mentally you may not be prepared because you're too into it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You can be drained just from getting so hyped up to play this basketball game. But you do. Each year by both of these teams. North Carolina trying to reestablish its ability to compete near the top of this league. That road goes through Durham. This will be an unbelievably intense basketball game, a game that both teams will come out and give it their all.
Veteran coaches managing the emotions as they get toward a 9 o'clock Eastern time tip-off tonight on ESPN HD. We'll get you ready with an edition of College Game Night at 8 Eastern and wrap it all up with another edition here from Durham at midnight Eastern. Right now, back to the studio.
All right, Reese, thanks. That's the best rivalry going. We have Liberty close to getting an NCAA Big South Tournament Championship second half coming up.
This halftime report is presented by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. ESPN2's presentation of the 2004 Big South Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by Advance Auto Parts, is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count. And Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
It's championship week presented by 7-Up. A lot to be excited about in Lynchburg, Virginia. The homestanding Flames up by 18 at the half in the Big South Championship game presented by Advance Auto Parts. Dave Revs and Bob Valvano back with you. And Bob, how they done it?
Gabe Martin has been unbelievable in so many ways. You see the three there. He's made the great hustle plays. Look at this, saving the ball from out of bounds. He's done a terrific job defensively, and he's gotten great help from Jason Sarchik. He has shot 3 for 4 and given them 8 rebounds. So between the two of them, they've shot 6 for 12, and they have all 8 free throws, 8 for 8 from the line. And take a look at the bench points, 13 largely, as we mentioned, because Sarchik did a great job. They've won every category. You know what's incredible? 36 field goal attempts for Liberty, 35 for High Point. Both teams with 8 free throws, both teams with 25 rebounds, and yet Liberty has been so much more productive, shooting almost 40%, just 25% defensively, and they haven't missed a free throw. They've gotten a lot more out of their possessions.
Chidike has it knocked away, and it's going to go to Liberty.
Well, and I was going to say, and the other thing is, High Point has made more turnovers, 10-6. Now it's 11-6. That is a recipe for a big deficit on the road.
There is Bart Lundy. Knows this league well. He actually went to Winthrop. He's 32 years old and the head coach at High Point's done a great job. Again, only UTEP has had a better turnaround this year in terms of increasing its number of wins than High Point, but really struggling so far in this one as Liberty now throws it away. It goes off the hands of Luvon Sneed.
To give you an idea what they've done, they had 8 Division I road wins this year. And they have the youngest, one of the youngest staffs in the country. Only Lehigh, I believe, is a younger coaching staff than the staff, which averages 30 years old. So a young and talented group on the coaching staff.
Into the lane. It's stolen away. Ahead of the pack is Martin, and perhaps he'll advise.
Well, if you're Randy Dutton, you're saying to yourself, fellas, I'm awfully proud we got an 18-point lead, but we could have put the fire out early here for the opposition if we could have taken advantage of those 2 turnovers. Blow this thing open at about 25 points, and you got to like your chances when you haven't been beaten on your home court all year and you have a 25-point second-half lead. But right now, still comfortable at 18 in the lead. And another turnover, 3 for 3 now.
Matlow comes up with this one. Let's slow things up. This is Blair. Beating his man, getting caught in the lane, but still gets it to go on the hanger.
Well, we talked about the other 2 guys, but we should mention Blair had 8 points as well, 2 threes. Now he's got 10, and he has been just calm as a cucumber as a freshman here.
Quick gets fouled on the way by Woodson. That's going to be number 3 on Woodson, so we'll keep an eye on that. He does a really nice job running the point for Liberty. Guy that Randy Dutton did not know anything about in August. He came down, take a look at the campus with an AAU coach who had a connection down here. Randy Dutton had no idea who the kid was, and now he's his point guard. Off the miss by Quick, battle for the rebound, and Quick gets it back and puts it up no good.
He was trying to pass that. He was looking to throw it to Gavin. He's got hung in the air. He's kind of betwixt and between. Wow, look at that young man.
Blair.
How about Blair? Mind you, he's a freshman. He's got 3 threes in the conference championship game here. And Bill Gaddings cannot get anything going.
Now he has just had a rough afternoon, to say the least. Blair thinks about another one. Instead leaves it for Luvon Sneed. Double teamed underneath. May have walked no call. Martin gets it back and puts it in.
This is on the verge of getting out of hand, and Bart Lundy knows it. He's going to take a timeout, but his team has no answers today for the Flames, who are on a roll.
A 25-point lead. And Bart Lundy going to try to come up with some answers, but that's tough to answer this. Larry Blair having a great second half. Liberty smelling the tournament.
After a bad stretch, Louisville's now won 2 in a row, losing to Marquette, though, for most of this game this afternoon. But Elijah Muhammad, he gets it, puts it down, and Louisville now leads by 4. Still plenty of time left, though, in that one, Dave.
All right, back with Bob Valvano, who does plenty of Louisville games. A team that has been struggling recently, but a couple good wins, Bob, to get them back on track.
Yeah, the Memphis game, and then, of course, the big road win in St. Louis. Tough place to play, and they're getting healthier as they head to the tournament.
Yeah, Francisco Garcia, obviously, his injury has been a big part of their struggles. Ball goes out of bounds. It's going to go to Liberty. Here it is 47-22 as Liberty tries to lock up its first tourney bid in 10 years and just its second ever. Played North Carolina 10 years ago, and Randy Dutton was an assistant on that team.
Look at the championship banner there. Randy Dutton has a few youngsters out there in the coaching audience. Followed an unusual path here. Was a high school coach in Anchorage, Alaska, at West Anchorage High School, and then Anchorage Christian. At the age of 23, he went to back-to-back state championships and came back to the lower 48. Has done pretty well for himself, thank you.
Great spin move by Martin. That guy's helped him quite a bit. 17 now for Gabe Martin. On the other end, High Point still looking for its first 3. Zion White can't get it. Matt Lowe with the rebound. And Liberty trying to extend the lead. The 3 from Blair. And Larry Blair hits.
This isn't just a win. Come on, you went to a very good school, I understand. Northwestern's a very fine place. Come up with a better word than win besides annihilation. It's a statement of sorts that they were not to be denied. How about that?
Well, it's not a word, though. I mean, that was a sentence.
Well, that's what I meant. Come up with a word that says all that. Can you do that?
I think annihilation was pretty good. A pummeling?
All right.
How about
pummeling's a good choice of words. Look at this young man who has just been as composed as can be. 4 3-pointers. He's got 16 points. He averages 12 plus on the year, almost 13 really. And really is not a great 3-point percentage. It was a fairly good 3-point percentage shooter. I take that back. He's made more threes than anyone on the ball club, but certainly has come up big on the biggest stage today.
Hilliman gets the friendly bounce. as that foul went on Luvon Sneed, number 2 for him. That ends a 12-0 Liberty run. First point for Patrick Hilleman, guy from the Netherlands Antilles by way of Central Florida Community College. Can only hit 1 of 2. Blair's very quick, but that time maybe a little too quick for his own good. Yeah. Hilleman comes up with a loose ball.
A little bit too excited there. He was realized he's having a big game. He was getting a little carried away there, partner.
Palacio spins into the lane. He has it blocked. Getting it back, though, and laying it in is Chris Meeks.
They've got to find, obviously, some sort of a miraculous defensive adjustment which forces a boatload of turnovers, because trading baskets and making mini runs isn't going to make up this kind of deficit, to state the obvious.
It'd help if they could hit a 3. They haven't hit one the entire game. You mentioned off the top that Liberty is the better three-point shooting team, but I mean, High Point isn't an awful three-point shooting team. They hit 33% on the season, but they have not been able to hit any in this one.
Well, the guy that's really got to step it up for them in terms of three-point shooting is White, and he has not been able. He's only got 2 points. He's made 59 on the year, but you wouldn't know it based on the way they're playing today. It's High Point's given them some problems when they've gone to this zone, but right now, if you're Randy Dutton, you say, fine, stay in that zone. Let me run 30 seconds off the clock every possession, and I may not have to score again.
Now Blair gets it to go.
He said, I'll score anyway. What a game that kid is having.
18 points now for Blair. 0 of 7 behind the arc so far for High Point. Meek's going to try to get it done inside, nearly loses it. They get it back, though, quick, nowhere to go. Rebound tipped around. They've got the arms interlocked down there to Sarchet and Hilleman. No call. On the other end now, here comes Liberty, and Blair loses it out of bounds, but it's going to stay with Liberty. As we continue here, Championship Week, presented by 7-Up.
Wake Forest coming off a loss at Virginia, struggling against NC State now. About 6.5 minutes left to go in the game. Ilyan Evtimov puts it in, and NC State now up 65-58, and Pittsburgh starting to roll now as they pull away from Villanova 51-37. Remember, they lost the last time they played at home. Back to Dave and Bob.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pam. Pittsburgh team with an RPI of 6, still probably in the hunt for a #1 seed. It is Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, the Big South Championship presented by Advance Auto Parts. Liberty on top big here, 54-25. Trying to make a statement to the committee is...
There you go. Statement was a good word.
That was such an easy word.
Yeah, but it was so obvious. I missed it.
This is a league that has had to play in the opening round game, did last year, and has on a couple other occasions, and I would like to try to avoid that. Missing the 3 there is Martin. And High Point coming the other way. Palacios. Nice give down low, and Patrick Hilleman throws it down.
You know, they talked about when they recruited Larry Blair that he's more of a scorer, more of a point maker than a playmaker, but he has been just what they've exactly needed here, because they've gotten a good inside presence from Sarchet. They've gotten really good, consistent all-around play from Martin. He's given them the backcourt scoring which they've needed. Really
Blair 4 of 4 in the second half. Yeah. Following on Brent Halsh right there. Hey, don't forget, tomorrow ABC Sports brings you an NBA doubleheader featuring 2 of the league's premier big men. First, it's the Texas shootout. Dirk and the Mavs taking on Yao and the Rockets. Then it's Jason Kidd and his Nets against Shaq and the Lakers. Coverage beginning Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific on ABC, home of the NBA Finals. A near turnover. Matt Lowe does a good job, though, to recover right there, and Brian Woodson going to reset things for Liberty. He's missing the 3. Matlow crashing the rebound. Sarchet comes out of there with it.
Well, he gives them a nice presence in there, though, Sarchet. I mean, there's not a lot of teams with great 3 and 4 great frontline plays. If you got one big guy in there who can get some rebounds, make some things happen, Good things happen for your perimeter guys, and Sarchit's been doing that for you.
That foul went on Luvon Sneed, number 3 for him. Championship week presented by 7-Up, High Point and Liberty from the Vines Center in Lynchburg, Virginia. The Big South tournament presented by Advance Auto Parts, and it has been all Liberty, and that pretty much the game in a nutshell there. As Chris Meeks misses, High Point still hasn't been able to hit a three-pointer. They can do very little right, and as Brian Woodson hits, Liberty can do very little wrong. Up now 56-27.
I said in the first 5 minutes, we'll find out after the initial emotion. They get back on the rails, and High Point never has. It's just been out of focus. They're like watching a movie that's slightly out of focus all afternoon. Very erratic.
They've seriously derailed.
Yeah, they really have.
Toxic waste might be spewing out of the.
But give these guys credit. They have done everything in their game plan and done it very, very well. Whoa, that was a spectacular effort by Matlow.
And that certainly is in no way to take away from what Bart Lundy has done this year, because he has done a tremendous job. Again, only Billy Gillespie at UTEP has seen his team increase its win total more over the past year than what has happened at High Point. Brian Woodson, by the way, picks up foul number 4, and there you see 32-year-old Bart Lundy.
From 7-20 to 19 wins, Rever. You owe nobody an apology for that.
No, he has done a tremendous job here. He's brought in a ton of new players, 10 new faces from last year, 10 guys wearing a High Point uniform for the first time. He's done that with a lot of junior college players, some walk-ons, and it's made a huge difference. But they have certainly run into a great performance here from Liberty this afternoon.
Now, one of the other things, a stat that we haven't talked enough about, quite honestly, is the fact that this High Point team is in the top 25 in the country in steals, 9 per game. They haven't been able to create very many steals today, just 2 up till the last media timeout. So that's really been a factor in them not getting easy shots.
Yet another missed three-pointer by Zion White. 56-27 in favor of Liberty. Now Martin spinning. And Dees is just going to pull it out. And he is fouled. Goes against Meeks. Chris Meeks trying to make something happen, picks up his second foul.
You know, we talked about High Point's program. It's worth pointing out from Liberty's program, not only is their men's program one of great excellence, but they are one of just 5 institutions in the country where their men and women's teams are in first place in their respective conferences. That is a very, very difficult double to pull off, and they pulled it off. In fact, their women will be playing a little bit later today for the Big South Championship.
Women's team 7 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Sarchit gets fouled away from the ball, and that's going to go against Patrick Hilleman.
The other
fouled on the ball, I should say.
I suppose we should tell you who the other ones are. Austin P, UConn, Duke, and Stanford. So a pretty elite company there.
Could have done it as a trivia question.
I could have, but I had no prize.
Unfurled them one by one. I mean, where's your creativity? You're just going to flat out give it away?
I don't like, you know, when there are prizes to give away, it's the radio background. What did I tell you? Look at the good patience. You know, this is what we heard about coming in. That High Point may actually still have better overall athletes, but in terms of cohesiveness, this Liberty team plays so well together. Look at the decisions they made. Look at Blair as a freshman. Takes a look at the shot clock. Does he have time to keep spreading the floor? He does. Look what they get at him.
They get a missed layup from Sarchit, but they did get a point-blank shot. You're right.
Got a 6-incher with 9 seconds on the shot clock. Now they're able to steal.
And Matlow's been all over the floor. He comes up with that one into the lane. It's Dees who misses. Rebound out of Martin. He muscles his way in. And there's a foul on the floor. Hilleman was the guy who was there.
Trying to flush this one. Gets challenged, won't go, and has been the case all afternoon. If there's a loose ball, it seems like Martin is able to come up with it. Turns it into a foul.
So everything going right for Randy Dutton's team, 56-27 in favor of the Flames.
This is what you come to North Carolina for. You dream of the matchup against those guys from Durham, North Carolina.
There is just something magical about this rivalry.
It is as good as college basketball gets. North Carolina and Duke, the rematch that'll be preceded by College Game Night, presented by Wachovia Securities at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The game at 9 Eastern Time on ESPN and ESPN HD. We're taking a look at the standings there for the ACC. How many of those teams did it get in, Bob?
Well, the top 5 are not only locks, but you could make a case that any of them are threats to go to the Final Four. That's not an overstatement, Dave. Now, after that, this definitely, there's just unbelievably efficient. We get distracted because they're so spectacularly simple. Spread the floor, good ball movement, and Blair gets his 5th three of the ballgame. But there's definitely a 6th team. There's got to be a 6th team.
Oh, no question.
The question is, you get 7, and there could be 7, depending on what goes on in the ACC tournament. Right now, it's kind of a 3-team battle for that last 6th spot, but 2 of those 3 could still go.
Matt Lowe to the hoop, can't get it to go. Hilliman comes out of there with it. That Maryland-Virginia game tomorrow looms huge. Some people feel like that might be an elimination game, and I agree with you. I think you have to wait and see what happens in the tournament. Now Hilliman is fouled by Sargent.
All right, take a look at the simple. Look at the great spacing. Look at how far apart all 5 white jerseys are. If you go double team one of them, simple math is going to tell you that you can't cover, 4 perimeter players with 3 of your own defenders. Somebody's got to be open, and they find that open man with great consistency. You certainly can't afford to make that open man Blair. He has had a terrific game. The freshman has shown absolutely great poise right from the outset and great shooting ability. I mean, he's only about a 31% three-point shooter. You wouldn't know it today, though. He has been dead on from behind the arc.
5 of 5 from the field, as you can see in the second half. 21 points now in the ballgame.
So much of good offense comes from spacing, though. You just can't overemphasize that simple fundamental. If you got guys that are in positions where they're difficult to defend and you get them on the floor where it takes the maximum advantage of their skills, well, half the battle's won already, and Liberty's done a great job of that.
A 31-point difference, a 21-point difference from behind the arc. Liberty has hit 7 of 22, High Point 0 for 9.
Well, and the third part of that equation is making the simple pass. And Randy Dutton, even though he's got a 31-point lead, a little upset with his ball club right there because he feels that a simple pass was not thrown. Dees had an easy pass from the top. They were in the right spacing, and he did not throw it there. Got his coach's ire up a bit. It's easy to take that kind of criticism when you're up 31, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that. That's what we're talking about. Great spacing, great ball movement, and the bottom of the well. My brother Jim was fond of saying basketball is a simple game that's difficult to play well. And when you break it down, sometimes it is very simple. And that was just what we talked about. Great spacing, great ball movement. And it helps that guy's on fire right now.
24 for him, 4 shy of his career high, making 0 of 10 now for High Point behind the arc. Hilliman, though, gets the board. And reaching in and committing the foul was Matt Lowe.
Well, watch again. Quick pass, nobody even close. You couldn't have even fouled him if you wanted to. They were so far away. And give Sargent great credit for throwing it there and finding him. It's a simple little pass. On the kick out, he could have shot it. Jason could have taken the jumper, but there was a better shot for a teammate, passed it up, got a 3.
Larry Blair, 6 of 6 from the field in the second half, 4 of 4 behind the arc, 16 points.
Well, we said at the top, I'm surprised, quite candidly, it's not a close game. I got to be honest about that. But we did say if Liberty wins the battle of the threes and they do a good job of containing Gathings, they were going to have themselves a good chance of success, and they've done both of those things. Gathings only has 7 points, and they have just been annihilating them from behind the arc with 8 three-pointers I've got, and none so far still for High Point. That is a rather significant margin to have to overcome.
That would be. Yeah, that makes a huge difference, certainly. 24 points right there, and that explains a lot of the 33 we see. And Blair, frankly, just can't.
Good Lord! Larry! You're only a freshman. What are you doing here? What are you going to, for the next 3 years, got nothing to look forward to now? He's going to put his career high up on national television. A trip to the big dance.
Now, Meek's missing right there. Inside Ichinike hits.
And that kid has kept playing hard. I'll give him credit for that. He has been a one-man island in the lane. He's been the only presence they've had around the basket.
9 points for Ichinike. So Liberty starting to state its case here and stating it very emphatically, not only for an NCAA tournament berth, but again, hoping to stay out of that opening round game. A team that went Division I in hoops in 1988. As the shot clock winds down to 3, Matt Lowe misses. They get the rebound. What else is new? They get 2 out of it from Leo Lightboard.
You know, that's an odd thing. I understand the ego aspect of not wanting to play in that first game, but the other side of the coin is UNC Asheville won it last year. You get to go to the tournament and win a game. I mean, or at least have a 50-50 shot at probably winning that game. It's a lot better matchup for your team than the 116 game. But as I said, would they rather have a 14 seed? I'm sure they would. But the other side is if you win that game,
well, then you end up in the 116 game.
Yeah, you do. You do end up there. There's no question.
Landed quick, misses that one. Now a nice play by Blair. Gets it to Dees, and
it's out of control. He's officially out of control. Well, these young, we were here a good 3 hours before the game, and the students were lined up, painted red, ready to get in. So the student body here in Lynchburg is going to be very delighted with what has transpired this afternoon. A nice pass inside, not able to be handled, and then when everything goes wrong, you fall down. You got 3 on nuns in the backcourt. And then an expression, an expression that sums up his afternoon, I guess. A lot of emotion out of Larry Blair.
Larry Blair, a guy who Randy Dutton has pointed to as a huge recruit for him. They signed him early. And he said Blair really just kind of exploded his senior year. Not literally, of course. That would have really hampered his career. But ended up as a top 150 recruit nationally by a lot of the recruiting services. And he's the kind of guy, Randy Dutton feels like he has a really unique situation here because of the unique aspect of the school, which was started by Jerry Falwell and obviously has a religious affiliation. He said we can get in on kids that we wouldn't otherwise have a chance for. He said there are a lot of kids who right away, they're not coming to play for us. We don't even bother with them. But he cited one example from when he was an assistant coach. As you take a look at Jerry Falwell, who's certainly enjoying himself. Dutton said when he was an assistant coach, he was able to get himself into the living room of Chris Webber. Now, there aren't any other Big South schools, I would venture to say, that could get themselves into Chris Webber's living room. But he said he was the kind of kid who came from the kind of background who had the kind of parents who they thought would be interested. His parents were, he said, the parents are always sold on the place. The issue is selling the kids.
Yeah, that's a good point. People sometimes focus on the negative aspect of any kind of a recruiting situation. Well, we can't get that kid, we can't get that. And a good academic school, half of this recruiting base is taken away from us. But the other side is you maximize the uniqueness of your situation, and good things happen. Good things have happened to this program today.
Matlow missing inside, but Dees gets the rebound. Their other outstanding freshman down in double figures with 10.
It's really gone from bad to worse for High Point, though.
Turnover there and a foul against Joshua Chambers.
If this were chess, I think Bartlett would knock over the king.
It is 70-33. A lot of applause for the Flames. Let's go to Pam Ward in our Championship Week studio.
All right, Dave, this game is much closer as Louisville is taking on Marquette. And it's a 3-point lead for Louisville. But Damian Mason, the hoop and the foul, his free throw ties it up. It's going down the wire, tied up at 75 apiece. We're back with more.
ESPN2's presentation of the 2004 Big South Conference Men's Basketball Tournament is presented by Advance Auto Parts. We're ready in advance. Advance Auto Parts. And in part by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. And GMC. We are professional grade.
Well, just about anyone who can lay any kind of claim to knowing Larry Blair. It looks like he just drew up that shirt about 10 minutes ago. Right?
He's in demand. Now, he's famous. Then they're going to say, that guy is my friend. Blair's roommate is my friend.
I was once behind him in the cafeteria line.
Oh, my word. It's almost getting obscene now.
That's Woodson hitting that one. 9 points now for Woodson. And the block there, but they call the foul on Glenn Turner. Woodson, an interesting story. We told you that he was unrecruited, came here as a walk-on. They basically had no idea who he was, and now he's their starting point guard. We were talking about the uniqueness of this university yesterday, and I said to him, well, here's a guy who's played at Youngstown State as a freshman. Let's take a look at this one again here, Bob.
Well, again, good spacing. Now they're just doing it effortlessly. You see, the wings are always wide, so if a guy gets a double team, they immediately find the open man. And they've been able to make good shots and shoot a good percentage in the second half.
To finish up that story, though, Woodson, who started at Youngstown State, then went briefly to a junior college in Wyoming, and then to Beaver County Community College in Pennsylvania. I said, well, what's different between this place and all the other places you played at? And he says, no matter how stupid the thing that I do on the court is, no one ever curses at me. I like that.
You certainly, the ball is knocked out of bounds, it'll stay here. You wonder what's going through the mind of the High Point players and their coach, Bart Lundy. On the one hand, the second most improved team in the country. They go from 7 wins last year to a national television game in the championship here with 19 wins. But it's got to be devastating because it's not like, frankly, it's some other programs. I mean, Rick Pitino was joking when they lost to TCU. The crawl at the bottom of ESPN for the rest of the night as he watched TV was Pitino's worst loss ever. Pitino's worst loss ever. As again, we've seen that movie before.
Well, that's a new career high for Larry Blair. 29 points for the freshman.
But the point is, he knows full well they're going to be back on TV again. They're on TV today. They played Memphis on TV. You know when your bounce-back opportunity is. It's Tuesday. It's next Thursday. High Point wonders when they'll get this opportunity again. For Liberty, they are maximizing their opportunity, and that young man is maximizing it. The 6'1" freshman has got 7 3-pointers in the ballgame and has just done a terrific job of taking whatever the defense has given him. When they've come to double him, he has found his teammates. You saw the pass earlier to Woodson. He's been the open man much of the ballgame, and he's made them pay for it.
Well, I would say so. Again, a new career high with 29 points. He had 28 in a game earlier this year. Look at that, 7 of 11 behind the arc. I mean, he has just been outstanding.
So making 10.5 out of 11 shots inside the arc. 21 points on 11 shots. That's pretty good.
The half shot I'd really like to see.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the tricky one. That's the catch.
That was a walk.
Now that's, unfortunately, right now it's like running their offense dry. High Point is just so devastated that if they don't score, it's only because of a mistake they make themselves, like an over-anxiousness or a travel. Bart Lundy, still to his credit, coaching his team. It's the message you want to send. You play till the buzzer. There's 6.5 minutes to go. Let's keep playing.
They still have not hit a three-pointer. Quick misses that one. And then a frustration foul, reaching in.
Well, Coach Stunton is going to go to his bench a little bit. Up 40 with 6.5. Feels like then you have like a chance to make some moves here. Big hand for everybody. Lots of applause to go around tonight.
He has all of his seniors in the game right now. And he's got the crowd favorite as well, the junior Jeff Reber. Handling the ball right now, having a little trouble getting it across, but he does get it in.
With a smile on his face, he laughed himself about, I just got here, fellas. Take it easy on me. Let me break a sweat.
Still has Martin in there. He gets fouled shooting a 3.
Now, as the old saying, when you get here, you got to dance with the girl that brung it, and Liberty did exactly that today. They had an advantage in three-point shooting coming in. They exploited that. They got their great bench performances. Sarchik coming off the bench, doing a terrific job. They've got the explosive scoring of Blair and Martin, and they've hung their hat on defense since Coach Randy Dutton has been here, and boy, did they do that. Gaddings has not scored since the intermission, just 7 points. The player of the year in the conference had 7, and 2 of those were on an own basket. I believe they're looking to see if it's a 3 or not, which could be instrumental in this ballgame.
This really could be the difference.
This could be the difference between a 50-point margin and a 40-point right now. I'll be honest. Bart Lundy's saying to himself, let's go.
That is Cheryl Martin in the stands there. Gabe Martin about to go to the line. As we told you, Martin started his career at Binghamton University, where Randy Dutton was an assistant coach, averaged 11 points per game as a freshman, transferred home closer to his Junction City, Kansas home to Barton County Community College to be close to his mother, Cheryl, who you just saw there, who had developed breast cancer. Went home for a year. He said to me, family is the most important thing. I wanted to be near her. And she has made it through and is doing far better, as you can see. And she and his father, Perry Martin, both in attendance here. And he decided to reunite with Dutton once Dutton got the job here at Liberty. And I asked him, you know, hey, you're a guy who played very well your freshman year. how did he convince you to come to a place where they had been 324 the year before in the RPI? And he said, you know, he never mentioned that. I didn't really do any research. I had no idea how bad they were. No one told me.
They left that out of the recruiting brochure, huh? Well, they've decided that he was on the line. And as they were looking at it, frankly, I was looking at it on our ISO monitor, and it was tough to tell. They watched it about 5 or 6 times, and they finally decided, what the heck, give them 2, they're up 40.
Charitable friends. 18 now for Martin. He had 13 in the first half. Obviously, the story in the second half has been Blair, who had 21 second-half points. Of course, there's still 6 minutes to go. He has mercifully, for High Point, taken a seat, at least temporarily.
Well, you know, Liberty was not in the championship game last year. They were bitterly disappointed, even though it was the first year for Randy Dutton here because they were hosting it and they lost in the semifinals. But I think that experience helped some of these guys. High Point, even though they have so many upperclassmen, Trevor, as you pointed out many times so far in this broadcast, a lot of transfers, a lot of junior college guys. This is a little different experience for them, and they got a little deer in the headlight-ish today.
Central Florida and Troy State coming up next for 3 on the way. No good by Reber. You know he's the crowd favorite.
I guess, boy. He's a cute little fella. They like that. You know, they like the little under 6 foot guys. You're under 6 foot, good-looking kid. I'm sure he likes to think that they appreciate his basketball ability, which they should. He's come in and he's done a couple of good things. That was a good look, actually, on the 3. He had it halfway down.
80-38 now in favor of Liberty. Reber almost exclusively a three-point shooter. 13 of his 14 attempts this year have been threes.
It's charged for that turnover there. My fault, he says. Not the lip reader to see that. Which is, coaches love when guys are willing to. That puts the play immediately behind you. There's no debate, no lingering doubt. I made a mistake. Let's play ball. Amazing how hard it is for guys to say that sometimes. There's a travel. Wow is all I can say. I really thought. Yeah, first of all, I thought it would. I wouldn't have been surprised if either team had won, but I would have bet.
Can we just say it? If you were watching ESPN News a couple hours ago,
I said I thought High Point would win a close game.
Yes,
they lost. They lost the first game by 11. They lost at their place by 1. I said, well, the third time's a charm. They got to find a way to get Gathings in the offense, and obviously, none of those things came to pass. But that was not a bad reflection at all on this Liberty team, who has been very, very efficient today. It was just a matter of Gathings was the player of the year in the conference, Rever. The guy averages 17 points a game. He only had 17 combined points in the first 2 games. So if he just goes for his average, they're going to find a way to turn it around. And with 2 games of tape, this very well-coached team, I thought they might find some answers. But Randy Dutton had all the answers up his sleeve. Did a great job. It's very hard to beat a team. I lost a championship game in a conference to a team we've beaten twice during the regular season. I'm telling you, it is very hard to prepare for that 3rd game because they are the ones trying to fix things. Harder to maintain than it is to find, oh, that was wrong, we can fix that. Well, that was wrong, we can fix that. Obviously, Randy Dutton did a great job of having his team prepared.
No question about it. And the frustration evident for High Point. Gathings has not scored in the second half. Just 7 points in the ball game.
Now, if you were a player.
All right, we're already starting with a huge hypothetical.
Would you?
I don't know where this is going.
He's had 2 good looks. We're not able to get that one to go down as we get a foul. But
well,
here's
at least he gets in the score sheet right there for Jeff Reber. That is foul number 1.
Well, he missed 2 shots.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I'm not talking about in Ireland. I'm talking about stateside if you were a player. I'm not talking about for the running septuagenarians or whatever
Watch
they
your centenarians,
whatever
please. Yes.
But here's the thing. I mean, we talked about trying so hard not to get in that 64-65 game, for lack of a better term. But if you could go in that game and win that, would you rather do that and then play in the 116 or go somewhere else?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I think so. I think it's a great showcase for your program. It's the only game that's coming up that night. Don't forget, we've got the Atlantic Sun coming up next, Central Florida and Troy State, a rematch of last year's game won by Troy State. That should be a lot of fun to watch because Troy State likes to get up and down the court. They have a lot of fun, so that'll be a good one. Stay tuned here on ESPN2 for the Atlantic Sun title. But I agree with you absolutely. The alley-oop, and Martin misses the jam, but it comes out to Smead, and so they'll reset things for Liberty.
The alley was there, not quite the oop, unfortunately. Not the only thing Martin's done wrong today. He's had a brilliant game.
The Crowd wants Reber to shoot every single time.
Every time he gets, if he's in the backcourt, they want him to shoot it.
The players do too. He's got
a couple screens. He's got an obstacle course out there.
Screeners coming out of the woodwork.
I think a manager jumped out and set a screen that time.
Now Matlow with the shot clock winding down. He misses it. And High Point trying to chip into the 42-point deficit.
There's a steal. Reber's certainly getting a lot of entries into the stat book here. He's got a foul, a couple of shots, just got a steal. Would have had an assist on the. Did he throw the alley-oop pass, or was that not?
Well, he's trying the three right now. He misses that one. Rebound is put in by Sarchin, who had a great first half. Those are his first 2 points of the second half. Not that they particularly needed him, because Larry Blair, the freshman, scored 21 in the second half, 29 in the game, and he is a huge part of the reason that Liberty is headed to the NCAA tournament.
Is it safe saying that, you think?
I maybe did it prematurely. I mean, look at that.
90% of the precincts reporting, you're projecting that Liberty will punch a ticket to the dance?
82-40. Again, a Liberty team that 2 years ago was dead last in the nation in the RPI. 324 out of 324. Now Martin tries to throw it down. No, but Sarchin is right there. They are dead last no longer. The Flames.
That's a good example about people talking about, at the top of the show, we were talking about how good are these teams. You don't see them on television much. And I made the point, my prediction of the game may have been wrong. I think my assessment of the talent was right on, and that is, there's no question the best players at this level can play anywhere in America. The rosters may not go as deep. You may not go 7 or 8 deep, and there may not be as big an average size. But do you think there's a couple of players, programs in the country can find a place for Larry Blair?
I'm thinking maybe, yeah. Just a few. Well, look, there were a lot of people hot on his tail, as Randy Dutton talked about, a guy that they got early, and there were still some people after him then, as we've got substitutions. Blair actually going to come back in the game. They're just kind of giving everybody a chance to make a grand exit.
Yeah, giving everybody a chance to get an ovation. Nice touch by Randy Dutton.
Randy Dutton has coached in the tournament as an assistant back on the 1994 team 10 years ago that led North Carolina in the final 10 minutes before losing. He'll get a chance as a head coach for Liberty this year. Now Blair.
Look at the spacing, though. Again, I mean, even the reserves, no matter what combination, there's some constancy. Spacing is one of those things.
Javier Palacios into the front court for High Point. Now the steal. Woodson. Alley-oop attempt for Lightbourne. It goes over him. So Blair gets it back. And he gets bumped, no call.
Look at the passing. Four guys handled the ball in that possession. They're ahead 86-41. Some of these guys have not had a chance to play on national television a lot. You'd think the instinct might be, hey, let me get mine. Instead,
that is
great spacing, great unselfishness. You do what you do, and that is a great commitment to the team. They should be very proud of that, and they earned that basket as a team right there.
This is classic pad your stats time. And we did not see that there from Liberty as David Dees ends up with the hoop. He'll go to the line. Again, the Big South Tournament Championship presented by Advance Auto Parts. High Point and Liberty from the Vine Center in Lynchburg. And it is a minute 37 from being over, 86-41. And as soon as it's done, we will take it to Central Florida and Troy State. As for the second straight year, they battle for the Atlantic Sun Championship. Troy State winning that last year. A great day, certainly, for the fans here in Lynchburg as Liberty has come out and played about as well as they could possibly play. Dees converts on the three-point play.
High Point in the 40s.
Well, the celebration is a minute 37 away. We're coming back to see it in Lynchburg.
Smells good, don't it?
ABC has Shaq and Yao in an NBA Sunday doubleheader. The Rockets take on the Mavericks, followed by the Lakers and the Nets. NBA Sunday beginning at 12:30 Eastern on ABC.
Great game between Louisville and Marquette. 2.6 seconds left, down 2. Scott Merritt to Damian Mason. Marquette to Ty. Can you believe he's fouled? The hoop goes in, and Mason goes to the line to try to win it. They're tied up at 80. Coming up, Dexter Lyons tries to lead UCF to the Atlantic Sun Championship. That is coming up next with a 4:05 tip as championship week continues. Dave?
All right, Pam, thanks a lot. So obviously we'll keep you posted. It's a game that Louisville certainly needs as things have begun to slip a little bit. And maybe they're aiming a little high, but that's one of the teams they very well might get, Bob.
If they do, as talented as Larry Blair is, I'm not sure he'll make 7 threes against that bunch defensively, but if he gets enough looks, he might. He's done a terrific job today.
They have emptied the bench. Hope Segun is in the game. And Segun working inside as it blocked from behind. Segun, a really interesting kid. He had a near-death experience. Gave himself the nickname Hope as the three-pointer finally is hit by Chris Meshack. That's the first one of the game.
Stop the game and give him the ball.
Chris Meshack comes in. Hope Segun had a blood clot in his leg 2 years ago. Was in a coma for 4 days. Came out of it and gave himself that nickname. Hope. His given name is Emmanuel, and he was at a junior college in Wyoming at the time and started a program for kids called An Hour of Hope. Intended to give kids some instruction on overcoming life's obstacles, and that group grew in a huge way. So Hope Segun, really a fantastic story. Good to see him getting out here on a great day for Liberty, Bob.
Yes, sir. They're still having a lot of fun. Matt Person just missed a 3 and badly and went back with a smile on his face. They've approached it the right way. And that young man certainly approached it the right way. Look at those numbers.
29 points for Larry Blair. Again, one over his previous career high. It's John Clark, another walk-on.
Oh, and they got the hats. They're passing out the hats on the Liberty bench.
John Clark going to the line, a freshman from the Bahamas. He hits it. Let's get an update from Pam Ward.
Louisville and Marquette. Damian Mason, remember, hit the shot and was fouled. He hits the free throw, and Marquette upsets Louisville 81-80. Mason is your hero, Dave.
7th loss in their last 10. Now for the Louisville Cardinals, and this one's been academic for a while, and now
they just want to get out of here now, I believe. The Panthers are ready to start the bus and go on home.
And here they come, celebrating just the second ever NCAA tournament appearance for the Liberty Flames, the Big South champion.
Larry Blair gets the hero's ride. He deserves it.
Once again, our final score. Liberty 89, High Point 44, as Liberty moves on to the big dance. Coming up next, it's the Atlantic Sun Conference Championship. The University of Central Florida taking on Troy State. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Bob Valvano, I'm Dave Revson. Now let's send it to Dave Pasch in Nashville.